Let's talk about marketing with car washes.
Yeah. So I think we're in a really unique position because we opened our first 2 car washes and we took over car washes that were pre-existing. So that template is different than some of the ones that we're doing where we're opening a brand new construction.
Talk to us about the different ways that you guys are utilizing the marketing to draw more traffic to our sites.
It's about visibility for us. So we're building on, someone drives by our site. If you're looking at traditional marketing, they say someone has to see you between 60 and 80 times before they click on your ad or stop by your business. What we focus on is creating an environment where once we get them in there, they're going to want to come back.
What's really separating AquaShine from all the competitors out there?
I think it's the fact that we are going down every avenue.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show, your go-to for real estate, business, health, and family insight. I'm Chris Salerno, CEO of QC Capital. Each episode, we explore the latest trends and expert advice from industry leaders. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or seeking balance, this show provides an inspiration you need. Join us and elevate your game on the Chris Salerno Show.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show. I'm your host, Chris Salerno. We're going to be pulling back the curtains with AquaShine Express Car Wash, a company that QC Capital owns, and we have QC Capital's CMO, Stephanie Yocum here, which also oversees the AquaShine Express brand with Regan. So excited to have Stephanie on. Stephanie, thanks.
Hello.
I know. I see you every single day. I love it.
Yes.
Except Saturdays and Sundays.
I
text
still
you,
talk to you on Saturdays.
I know. I blow up your phone.
Always.
You love my 1, 2, 3 a.m. messages.
It's the highlight of my day.
I know. Let's dive into it. Car washing, everything about car washing. I saw some fun people getting into it. We can talk about that later. But I want to talk about marketing. Marketing's everything with any type of business, especially in the challenging times that we're seeing right now. Economy is a little slow. My recent trip I just took, I asked the hotel front desk, how's your business? And they said they're actually down. And they saw a 70% decrease in Americans that visited this year compared to last year, which is huge.
Yeah.
So something's going on in the economy, and when that happens, you really need to think deeply on marketing and how to basically go and do guerrilla marketing, your old school marketing, knock on doors, businesses, and generate marketing. Let's talk about marketing with car washes.
Yeah. So I think we're in a really unique position because we opened our first 2 car washes and we took over car washes that were pre-existing. So that template is different than some of the ones that we're doing where we're opening a brand new construction. So you have to come at it from 2 different angles. But I think, again, we're in a really unique position because we've now been marketing these sites for close to 18 months, and we can kind of pick up on, I don't know if you want to call them recession indicators, but we can see because we look at the numbers every single week and how we have to adapt our marketing. So we started with these 2 sites that we acquired that just did what you would consider that old school marketing, right? Word of mouth, coupons here or there, and then just rely on people driving by. So when we come in and we start doing all of the new age marketing, so you're talking digital and you're doing larger, guerrilla marketing campaigns, mailers, different types of digital marketing. It's not just meta ads anymore, right? So we have to come in and take a look at it from a couple of different perspectives.
Yeah, most definitely. And it is different taking over a site and rebranding compared to having a brand new site go live.
Yeah.
Definitely different. Talk to us without giving any of our competitors some of the secrets that we're doing to generate traffic, because right now everyone's struggling generating traffic.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, especially with my conversations with larger car wash owners in the space and even other different type of businesses, not just car washing. Everyone's struggling driving traffic, so it's an economy thing. So talk to us about the different ways that you guys are utilizing the marketing to draw more traffic to our sites.
Yeah, it's about visibility for us. So we're building on, someone drives by our site. If you're looking at traditional marketing, they say someone has to see you between 60 and 80 times before they click on your ad or stop by your business. There's a business in my town that has been open for a year. I drive by, I go, I'm going to stop there one day. I'm going to stop there one day. And they just closed. And now I'm like, well, dang. I never got to stop. Yeah. So we encourage people and get people to come in kind of sooner within, a little bit earlier than that 60 views, right? So what we focus on is creating an environment where once we get them in there, they're going to want to come back. So we build that loyalty. And we, again, if you're taking over sites that are pre-existing, can build on some of that loyalty, or we just create that loyalty. So we've got our traditional media through, Meta, Instagram. That's not groundbreaking at all. But we do a couple of different things when we come into new communities. Community involvement is a huge pillar. And this is stuff that's all on our website, right? So it's we come into any community and we want to be an addition to the community. A lot of the feedback that we've gotten back once people come on site or we're having grand openings is, thank you so much for coming into our community and doing this. One of the things that we do at all of our sites and all of our communities is we support a charity, a local charity. We tend to go towards one that promotes child advocacy because that's something that we do with QC Capital here in Charlotte. And so we like to kind of pull that through. But, we're partnering with the Humane Society at one of our sites here coming up as well. So we always like to kind of plug ourselves into the communities in different ways. And then, again, just create that loyalty with our customer service. We've talked about this before in other forums, how, in the car wash industry, we want to be the Chick-fil-A of car wash. So we really work with our teams on site and hope that we can convey that through some of the marketing that we're doing of that you're going to get a different type of service than potentially some of our competitors when you're coming to our site.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think, everyone looks at a Chick-fil-A drive-through line and they know, even though it's wrapped around the building, they're only being there for about 5 minutes because it's very efficient. And that's what we try to do because we know people's lives are busy. People want a clean car. They may not want to vacuum every single time they get a car wash, but they want their exterior nice and shiny, especially if they're going on date night, whatever they're doing. So we have to make sure that it is extremely efficient for them in their busy lifestyle. So I think it's important. I think another thing, too, is a lot of other car wash operators are not treating marketing like actually an investment. And I think it's super important to, with your marketing dollars, you actually treat it like an investment to generate and understand your ROI and per customer acquisition.
And that's why we talk about these sites that we came in pre-existing and we actually put marketing dollars into it. A lot of these sites that we're buying from are just, mom and pops and have just that old school mindset. And so we're coming in and we're actually putting the dollars in. And I know that, I come from a marketing brain and you come from your CEO brain, even though you understand marketing. And we're looking at the bottom line here. And, I always come to you and I say, here is the number that I think we need to spend to get us up to speed with our marketing, especially when we're launching sites or if we have a dip in our memberships or we have a membership goal. I come to you and sometimes the sticker shock is there because you have to invest the money, especially up front when we're opening these new sites or trying to get our brand out in these communities. You have to put the money up front to get those people in. Again, you create that loyalty. And then that's when the old school starts to work. The word of mouth, the coupons, because you now have people who are loyal to your specific brand who then can penetrate the community and help it grow that way. But you have to up front make that investment to make things work.
I think that's a big thing where with any business, the first thing they cut is personnel and really also marketing too. Like those are like the first two things they look at is, okay, who can we cut to limit our personnel? And then where can we cut on marketing? But I think it's a very similar example. For example, my father passed away 3 years ago. He died of a stroke. Well, he stopped taking his blood pressure medication because he thought he was okay. So you think your business is okay at the moment, even though it may be declining given a certain situation. So, but you're going to go ahead and cut the line item, which is making your business okay, and which is making and bringing and drawing you clients. And so I think the key there is to really toughen it out. Get comfortable with being in that uncomfortable position and really just toughening it out, focusing on marketing and better allocating your marketing dollars to generate better traffic, especially to your sites. And it all depends on what business you're running. Each business is different, especially with our car washes. These are physical locations. It's not like we're selling a T-shirt online, where we can sell it to California, someone in California, New York, wherever. We have a physical location, so we are focused on that guerrilla marketing within those locations.
Yeah, and I think too, just to kind of come back to some of these points of cohesive marketing is, we have a handful of sites in Florida, and then we have some in Georgia, and we have one in South Carolina. And we're continuing to expand with not only just within the Southeast region, but specifically within markets where we already have sites.
Oh, yeah.
And so we want to make sure that brand recognition is there. So when we're starting this brand, we're making sure that we're cohesive across all sites. So if you go to an AquaShine in Florida, you're going to get the same look, feel, and experience that you would get in Greenville, South Carolina. And then that also helps us and positions us really nicely when we have more sites come into our market. Say we get new sites in Greenville. We're going to have that brand consistency, and people are going to recognize us and come in and go, I had an experience across town with you. I'm across town right now. I'm going to come by and stop by.
Oh, yeah.
And so that helps us by making sure that we're cohesive in our branding. We've got those attractive colors. You and I, for all of our other businesses as well, talk a lot about the psychology behind why we used certain typographies, why we use certain colors. And this is no different than why we chose with the car washes, which are physical sites. Even though we have a internet presence, it's a service.
I mean, I see marketing differently. Like when I go in to a grocery store, when I walk into Whole Foods, I don't look at the produce and just look at it and say, okay, that's an apple, that's an orange, that's a banana, or walk down the aisle and say, okay, that's oats, that's water, whatever. I look at the marketing side of it. How are they marketing to catch my eye? And then I look at it. I'll stand back and I'll look at the whole aisle, or as much as I can see, and then I will tell myself what is popping out to me.
Yeah.
And then I go over and I look at it and then I say, why is this popping out to me? What with the colors, the font, the shapes is making my mind out of this whole aisle be attracted to this particular box or bag?
I think that this is why marketing is going the way that it is, because you and I are from a generation and it continues to go this way where, we're chronically online, right? We have between our businesses, our socials,
AI, all of them.
Yeah, we're chronically online. And so we consistently see not only our competitors' marketing, but what we would consider attractive marketing for all aspects of our life, whether you're looking at vitamins, whether you're looking at a local business or a restaurant. We like this really sexy, attractive marketing, and that's what we're drawn to, whether you're in the grocery store or whether we're in the car washes. So we have to take that and appeal to what is becoming more of this larger generation who is looking for that attractive marketing. And then also, with the simplicity and cohesion of the brand, we're still be able to appeal to that older generation who, again, people ask us a lot, who's your target market for car washes? Well, if you have a car, you're our target market.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no age range. There's none of that. So you have to go from a 16-year-old who just got their keys to their brand new car, or a car that their parents bought them, right? And they want to take care of it, to the 80-year-old that can still drive and needs to take care of their car.
And if you look at our memberships, especially in each location, it ranges. There's 80-year-olds, there's 20-year-olds. So there is really no, okay, it is this perfect demo. It's not a male, with blue eyes, blonde hair, and a Nissan. Like it's really anyone that has a car that lives within a 3 to 5 mile radius from our locations.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have to just focus on this style of marketing that appeals to all generations, but also keeps up with the mass generation of all of us being chronically online, scrolling Instagram and TikTok and being visually appealed to across all brands. And so that's where we kind of came out with our marketing of making sure, again, it's cohesion. You're going to hear me say that a ton because that's so important, that whether they see us online or they're driving by and seeing our monument sign out front of our site, it clicks. Yeah. It's the same.
Agreed. 100%. Without divulging all of our secrets that we're doing, because I do know for a fact that there's no other car wash company that's doing what we're doing with some of our secrets. And I've confirmed that, so do not divulge that. But, what's really separating AquaShine from all the competitors out there?
I think it's the fact that we are going down every avenue. And so, again, digital marketing, guerrilla marketing, plugging into your community and thinking outside the box. We have meetings weekly where we sit around, and even, the people on our team who are not in marketing, we think of out of the box ideas. So you love AI and you love ChatGPT.
I love it.
I encourage any business owner to utilize their resources, because not everyone can have a full marketing team or have a marketing agency that they can bring on. But there are agencies out there who can help you. And so utilize your resources and really just figure out how to get plugged into your certain community. One of the things that we're really proud of, and we pride ourselves on our community service and think that really sets us apart from other industries, but we just won Best of South Carolina for one of our sites. And so we're really proud of that. And those are things that you have to be seeking out. They're not going to just fall on your doorstep.
Now we're shooting for Georgia, right?
Yes, we have our 2 sites currently as of this recording. We have both of our sites in Georgia that are up for Best of Georgia. So it's our brand.
Yeah.
And so that is voted on by your community. So we won. So that's super important. Again, it's showing that the marketing that we're doing within our community is working, that the marketing that we're doing digitally is working, that someone noticed us and submitted us, or we can self-submit as well for certain things. But if you have that visibility, it opens more opportunities. Something that we did, again, it's all over our social media and on our website. For our grand opening in Sarasota, plugged into the local news station. So one of us will go on the news and just, again, spread the word about if you have something that you truly believe in and that you are putting all this money behind, you have to talk about it. You have to talk about it on every avenue that you can find. Whether someone's listening or not, you have to get it out there.
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Just a quick reminder to make sure you never miss an episode. Stay connected with us by following us on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok at Chris_Salerno_. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube to catch the video versions of our episode. You'll get exclusive content, behind the scenes footage, and much more. Head over to YouTube, Chris_Salerno now, and hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned because we've got more great content coming right after this.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Let's talk about some real results. That's all I care about is results and the bottom line. And obtaining those real results. It can be difficult. Especially when you're testing new marketing and trying to track that new marketing on how is it actually growing these sites. Walk us through what you do on a daily with that.
Yeah, so we meet as a team to kind of look at our retention numbers and see where we're hitting the mark. We have goals like any business. We have year 1 goals, and then we set little monthly goals, weekly goals for ourselves as far as membership. Again, it is really a team job here. So operations on our team runs the car washes, and marketing, we get people in. And if one of us isn't doing our job, so if one of us can't get the members into the site or somebody off the streets into the site, then our operations team doesn't have the opportunity to convert them with their amazing customer service. And swap that. If I'm getting people in to come in off the street and they're having a bad experience and they're leaving a bad Google review, it doesn't work if we're both not
How
firing.
important are those Google reviews?
So important.
I know, we rolled out a campaign this month to increase our Google reviews, and it's increasing substantially.
We have one site that went from 90 Google reviews. This was also a pre-existing site. So this site had been around for years and years. And that Google profile had been around for years and years. And we went from 90 reviews. And as of this morning, we're over 600.
I love it.
So that's crazy.
Yep.
And it's been, our full campaign hasn't even run yet. That's 3 weeks. And so that's super important.
We still have 2 more weeks of that.
Yeah. We're going to pick a winner on the last day of
Hopefully
August.
we can hit over 1,000 with that site.
I'm pretty happy with 600,
Well,
but
hopefully we can hit over 1,000.
But
we got a little ways to go, but we can hit over 1,000.
It's super important when you're thinking about your SEO and when someone types in car wash near me that we're the first one popping up, and it's momentum building. Marketing is all momentum. So we're building on the momentum of Best of South Carolina. We're building on the momentum of all of these Google reviews that are coming through, and now we're popping up, and we're seeing that too over the sites that we've now been in the communities, whether we've taken them over or they're brand new. Once we kind of cross that year thresh mark and we have now invested all that money and it's now the systems are in place and now we're able to try little different things here or there, we're seeing how it's working. We're seeing our memberships are hitting our targets on most sites that we've set for year 1, and then we are stretching our goal. We'll change. Our team changes our goals all the time. We have our goals that we share, and then we've got stretch goals, and we're hitting those stretch goals, and we're like, okay, well, you in particular are never satisfied as far as whether it's personal, professional, whatever it may be.
You know me pretty well.
I do, and we push the boundaries a lot, and so
you have to.
So if we sit in a meeting and tell Chris, hey, we hit our year 1 goal and we're 8 months in, great. We've changed the goal now. The goal's doubled. Okay, and you're going to hold us to that. You're going to sit in a meeting every week and look at us and go,
I'll reiterate it.
where's our new, okay, you don't even say new goal. You say, this is our goal. Why haven't we hit it? And we're like, okay, well, we hit the old goal last week. We're working on it. Like, we're getting it. And so the target's always moving, and that's something in marketing. You always have to be adaptable.
Yep.
We always say, whether it's car washing or any of our other businesses, that we'll try something once. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
No.
But we won't know until we try it. So
You have to try it.
we're throwing
it's just
stuff at
like
the wall
it's
here.
just like with food with Cruz,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like with food or anything you and I do in life. If you don't try it, how do you know if you're not going to like it or not? At least just try it. You know, it's not going to hurt. Yes, it costs you a little bit of money, but hey, you can get a great ROI. I made an investment at the beginning of this year. I'm not going to say what it was, but I told you guys know what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And I told you the only reason why I'm doing this investment is to generate more clients for QC.
Yeah.
Well, within 3 months, we generated a tremendous amount, and it's already paid for its investment.
Right.
You know, and it's a fun investment. So you have to at least try it to see if it works. If it doesn't work,
You
stop
pivot.
it and you pivot. That's the biggest thing. If you cannot pivot as a company, no matter what industry you're in, you're going to fail. Look at COVID. Look how many businesses went out of business because of COVID because they didn't want to pivot to Uber Eats or online or maybe delivery. However, during COVID, there's people that made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there's businesses that flourished because they pivoted. And that's one thing I've realized throughout multiple businesses I've operated is if you cannot pivot, you're out. And if you can't pivot quickly. Now, the reason why it's important to pivot quickly is because say you pivot and you make the wrong decision. Well, pivot again. And if you hold on too long, then you're going to fail. But you have to pivot quickly and be okay with making a wrong decision, pivoting again to the right decision.
Well, and I think when we're talking about these decisions and determining what does and doesn't work, another thing that I recommend is you have to be data driven. So you have to be able to track results across whatever you're doing, whether they're tangible or not. Not everything is going to be tangible. If you send a mailer out, you know, you can understand if they're using the code and some brand awareness with that, but not everything is going to be, you're not going to get everything down to the exact number, right? However, you have to be able to utilize and read data where you can, and you have to use it to your advantage. You have to use it to your advantage, but then you also have to be able to, you know, when I come to you and again, it's say, hey, I think we need to invest X amount of dollars and here's why. And you're a numbers guy. And so great. You ask me questions, you challenge me. What's the expected KPIs here or the ROI? And we have to be able to continue our conversation to determine once we make that investment, if it is or isn't working, we're tracking towards that data. So you have to be really data driven in your marketing.
Have to.
And it's not necessarily every industry, but for this specific industry and all the ones that we are in, it's data driven. You have to look at the numbers and you have to make informed decisions.
Really,
by
any
that.
industry you're in, it's data driven. I mean, that's why I always tell everyone who comes to work for QC is that I operate like an F1 team. We are very quick. We have to pivot when we have to pivot. And it's all about data. Those F1 cars, like, and I was talking to someone yesterday about this, an investor who came in to the office to visit us. I was telling him, I said, I don't watch F1 just to watch the cars drive around, you know, the track, where most people psychologically, that's what they're doing. What I am analyzing is, okay, the stopping points, the acceleration points, the data behind it, and I see it as a business. Yeah. There's so much data in those cars that are going back to engineers, and they're making split-second decisions, hundred of millisecond decisions to either win the race, lose the race, which costs millions of dollars, or they can win millions of dollars. It just depends. And they are making hundreds of millisecond decisions based off the data they're getting and pivoting very quickly depending on, oh, rain's 15 minutes out. Oh, wait, no, it's actually 5 minutes out. Oh. You know, we need to pivot quick. And that's how you need to operate your business. You need to get all the data. You need to understand your customers at an extremely high level. And one thing when I met with Jamie Dimon with Chase's CEO, one thing he brought up, which I loved, is that Jamie could easily fly private with his organization to all of his sites. And they just opened up the 1,000 Chase branch here in Charlotte, which was a great milestone for Chase Bank and JP Morgan. However, what he said is that he has a bus tour. So literally it's a bus that's obviously wrapped with Chase and JP Morgan on it. And he has the executives go around in the bus to the branches, because he wants to feel what his customers are going to feel.
Yeah.
Traffic, sitting at a stoplight, what does that look like? Because not all customers are flying in on a private jet, Ubering directly to a location. So he wants to feel based off of his customers on what they're going to experience. And I think that's super important. You got to get nitty and gritty and down and dirty to understand your customers at a very high level so you can market properly to them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great, that's really applicable to us in car washes is we do secret shoppers. So we have that data.
Oh, yeah, we do.
The way that our team selects our locations is very data driven. And so we have that on our side as well. But we have to take learnings from our other sites and apply them to our future sites and listen to the customer data, and it's gotta all be cohesive. It's gotta come through. You have to listen to the customers. You have to put yourself in the customer's shoes. Sometimes when we come onto these sites, we have some new staff members who don't know who we are. We hide our logos and we drive through. We're heading to a site later today, and you bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna hide my little logo and go through and just experience it from a customer. And it's not because we're trying to get you on our staff. It's all learnings. We have to communicate with the team on site, back to the corporate team here, so that we are walking in lockstep and helping each other out. And that's what's going to get us to grow. We don't have 1,000 sites like Chase, right? But we have aspirations of having many, many more sites. Set goals for ourselves internally of how many car washes we want by this year and next year, et cetera. And the only way that we're going to do that is if we're in lockstep within our teams, in lockstep with our customers, continue to evolve with marketing as it's coming through. Again, I'm actually surprised we haven't talked about AI more, just because you're a really big fan of utilizing that and leveraging it. And I think that there is definitely a place for it in marketing. And so if you're not adapting and pivoting and continuing with the times, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah.
If you are that mom and pop that is stopped, I implore you to
sell to us.
Sell to us if you're willing. But also if you're not and you want to stay in the game, you're going to have to change something, or unfortunately, you are going to have to. It's going to come to a point where you're going to have to sell.
I think the biggest thing, and we all know this, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Our parents, my father was 83. When he passed, he was stubborn as hell. When you get older, you get stubborn. Let's just call it is what it is. And the issue is that when you get and you built a business and you're working 20, 30, 40 years, you don't want to use technology. You don't want to use AI. It's worked for you so long, so it's good for you now.
Yeah.
But what's shocking is like when you see companies who've been around 60, 70 years and they're filing bankruptcy, they're going out of business. And in my opinion, it's because they stopped pivoting. They pivoted for a little bit. They found their niche. They're just running with their niche. But times will always change. Pivoting, you have to. I mean, look at this younger generation, just with how they spend money. And look, most countries are now don't drop in the comments and say, oh, blah, 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 this country is not. But most countries are on a negative population of their citizens declining. People are not having children.
Birth rates are down significantly.
Correct.
Yes.
They're having dogs and cats and animals. So, that's the new generation.
Yes.
So how are you going to pivot to marketing that? Like if you're, for example, if you had a baby formula or diapers, and I started looking at the statistics, I'm like, well, how are you marketing? Like if we can see right now that the population is declining, no one's having that many kids anymore. What's that ultimately going to do to your business? Your revenue is going to decline. So you have to pivot into other ways to keep revenue up and to keep growing it.
And that's why I think it's really important, doctors have continuing education, lawyers, fields that have always had continuing education. Marketing, you can go to college, you can get a marketing degree, and then that you can stop. You don't have to learn anything else. You're not going to set yourself up for success. But that's why here, we love the continuing education, taking a class on this, taking a class on AI as they're coming out with new AI versions. You have to learn. There's a company here in Charlotte that if you go to their LinkedIn and you look at their higher ups and their marketing team and their sales team, their team leads and their VPs and all that stuff have been there for 20 years. They are cleaning house because the people who are in charge now at the top realize, hey, this person has been around for 25 years at this company, and we thank them for their service. but we just need somebody who's open and more adaptable and who's willing to, have someone come in for the next 20 years.
If you cannot adapt as an employee, there's certain stages of businesses. And the first stage is a startup stage. Everyone is doing everything, they have their hands in all pots. As you grow, the team grows out. And the company can outgrow people, and people can outgrow the company. Mm-hmm. So you never want to be a company where other people outgrow the company, because that means you're kind of limiting there's no growth, and no one really likes that. So someone actually outgrows you to go to a bigger company. That means you're staying stagnant. So you always want to keep growing as a company and adding, for example, more sites and different opportunities and asset classes. But when it comes to growth as a company, the company can outgrow people. And in those circumstances, the company outgrew those individuals that have been there 20, 30 years. Not knocking them. No. Those individuals got them to that point. But now to get to the next point that the other owner or the other investors want, you need a whole different group of people.
Yeah, 1,000%. And there's a place for everyone. So it's, for marketing, find the right people. The customers are first. If you're in a service-based industry especially, the customers come first. You have to understand them. You have to think analytically. So you got to be data-driven. Make sure that your branding is consistent and just build that brand trust and that brand loyalty. Mm-hmm. And that will get you very, very far without even having to do some other things. You focus on those things and you're in great shape. You're on the right path.
Amen. Amen. Well, let's wrap things up. We got to get to other meetings. Just recap from all of our conversations into one. I mean, I think customer first, data-driven, consistency, and trust is super important amongst all your customers. Would you agree?
Agreed.
Anything you want to add to that?
No. If you're ever in Greenville, South Carolina, anywhere, greater Georgia, greater Atlanta area in Georgia, and we're kind of speckled across the state of Florida as well, come check us out at AquaShine. Leave us a Google review. We'd love to have you and have you experience our marketing and our customer service.
And if you do that in this month of August, you'll have a chance to get your name into a drawing to win a 1-year free car wash at our site. So depending on what site you leave that Google review, you'll have a chance to win with your name into a drawing to win 1 year free car washes at that particular site. So go ahead, leave us a Google review. And I appreciate everyone for listening. Thank you, Stephanie, for giving us some wonderful insights in marketing and our car washes. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chris Salerno Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insight to help you along your journey. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to cover, feel free to reach out directly to me. Shoot me a message on Instagram at Chris_Salerno_. Until next time, keep pushing forward and stay inspired.